We have so much to be excited about when it comes to this summer because we not only have Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland coming out, we have Camp Rock 3 to look forward to, and I'm really excited to be a part of this with all of you. I was always a huge fan of Camp Rock for the music, for the cast, and what Demi Lovato and Joe Jonas offered to that script. They really brought it to life, and I'm looking forward to seeing them come back to reprise their role, even if it's just once, because this is going to be something that we are never, ever going to forget. And seeing them share the stage with Descendants and Zombies has become the greatest honor of my life. Now, while it's been said that nobody's going to go to the Worlds Collide Tour Leg 2 because the stars that were originally featured are no longer going to be a part of it, they've opted out. The thing is, what we've got to realize is they have so much going on and happening for them. Of course, Freya Sky has Leg 2 of her Stars Align World Tour kicking off in June. Kylie Control's just signed a brand new record deal with Republic Records, which I'm really excited about, and a brand new single on the way out called Carrie Bradshaw. And we have so much to be excited about for their futures, and we have a chance to be a part of something that is so special. I've always been a huge fan of Kylie Control, and I love Freya Sky just as much as what you have. So if you're looking for a guy who knows what it's like to be you and feel like you, then you should look no further than Jonathan Clarke. And you should always trust in the idea of Jonathan Clarke having something nice to say about your favorite stars. Because I promise you, I will never let you down. Because from the first moment I saw Kylie Control and Freya Sky, what more needs to be said? I thought they had fabulous futures in store, and I just wanted to be a part of them. I saw so much strength, heart, and dedication coming from people like Kylie and Freya because they just wanted you to be a part of their futures because you are what made everything happen for them so quickly because you believed in them so much. And I've always believed there is nothing wrong with ever having been a fan of Descendants and Zombies, no matter how you feel about these franchises, how you felt drawn to them, or however your story relates to you becoming a part of these franchises and feeling connected to people that you've loved so much. There has never been anything wrong with being a fan of Descendants and Zombies. I can't even begin to tell you how many things I was a fan of back in the early 1990s, from Power Rangers to even Sailor Moon. I was a huge fan of it because it was just something about a fighting action superhero team that I could never get enough of, or how Sailor Moon just wanted to be friends with everybody but also save the galaxy at the same time while falling in love with Tuxedo Mask. I've always had a greater appreciation for things that you would never expect me to have had a greater appreciation for. When it came to playing every video game in existence, watching every kid's TV show, even kids' TV shows that we've kind of long forgotten about like Victorious and Sam and Cat and Hannah Montana and iCarly, I love them all. So when I saw somebody like Kylie Control reviewing these shows on a show called Hello Kylie, a web show on YouTube that had over 500,000 subscribers in less than 1 year, that said a lot to me about Kylie Control's future because we all believed in her. And I just wanted to be a part of Kylie Control's future and to let her know as a podcast host myself that everything was going to be okay because she was doing a fabulous job. It really broke my heart how guys were making Kylie Control feel in relationships she may have been caught up within because she felt misunderstood and she felt like she couldn't trust them. And I just wanted Kylie Control to know that she was always one of my favorites. And if there was one guy out there that was always going to say something nice about her, it would have to have been Jonathan Clarke. The only hope I've ever had is that when I record my thoughts on Descendants and Zombies is that somebody out there is going to watch my video and forever hit my subscribe button out of love and support. That seems to be the only hope I've ever had, along with how I've always believed that zombie apocalypses and alien invasions could happen at any given moment and how I always thought pro wrestling was real. And as much of a loser as I might seem to be to a lot of people for thinking those things, thinking such things as Descendants and Zombies were real, that's what allowed me to bring these videos to life. And I love sharing these stories with you. I can share this same story with you time and time again and always find time in telling it differently. Because you always have a chance of attracting somebody and touching their heart in so many unimaginable ways, which is something I've very successfully done, maybe in how I could tell these stories. Because from the first moment I saw Freya Sky on The Next Step from YTV many years ago, I knew she had it and I knew she was going to be something special. And I found time in certainly appreciating Freya for all of her God-given qualities and gifts, which she used to entertain all of us and really touch a chord with all of our hearts. And that was so beautiful about Freya, and just how appreciative she was of living in these moments with all of you. I can only imagine how you guys felt when you were singing along to her songs from her EP Stardust, and you felt so special and you never wanted these moments to end at the Stars Align World Tour. The same thing can be said about this past summer's Worlds Collide Tour because thousands of people, 19 through 20,000 people came out every night in venues selling out the Worlds Collide Tour because you believed in these stars so much. And the one thing that I will never ever forget about the Worlds Collide Tour is the emotional connection these stars shared with all of you. I knew many people that were heading out to the Worlds Collide Tour with the sole purpose of criticizing it. So I wanted to do something about that. I wanted you guys to come home from the Worlds Collide Tour, people who may have attended it, to watch really cool videos that were reviewing the Worlds Collide Tour. And while I may have never had the chance to attend the Worlds Collide Tour, I wanted to be the one guy who would always say something nice about it. I may have never known how I was going to say something nice about it at all, but for some way or somehow, I managed to touch the hearts of more people than I will ever be remembered for. Because one thing you guys have come to know about me over the years is that I have never ever wanted to be forgotten, and I've always wanted to leave a legacy behind, kind of like the show Legacies that was a spin-off from the Vampire Diaries years ago, when all these forgotten characters just had legacies they wanted to leave behind. Because you see, no matter who we are, we all have a story. And we want our story to be seen and heard by more people than ever before. And the only hope I've ever seemed to have is that my story was going to go on to be seen and heard by more people than I ever imagined possible. But it happened because you guys saw something special in every video that I would go on to create and that I would have the honor to put out there on the YouTube algorithm. Because every night there is somebody uploading a video about Descendants of Zombies that has always had a way of touching our heart. But I've always wanted to be the one guy that people could find time in relating to for how I could tell these stories. And how much I believed in these stories for the beautiful characters that were brought to light by so many wonderful people. And I had the chance to experience that with all of you. I had the chance to tell people how I really felt about Kylie Cantrell and how I thought she was doing an exceptional job bringing characters like Gabby Duran and even Princess Red to life. Because all Princess Red ever wanted to do was paint the town red because she was very rebellious. She was really the first of her kind, a really rebellious villain in the Descendants franchise who took it further than many villains ever did. She even took it further than what Dove Cameron did, exemplifying a lot of power and a lot of strength along with a lot of heart and dedication. So this gives Kylie Cantrell more of a reason than ever before to be excited about her future. An upcoming ballad, which we're going to be hearing for the first time ever, kind of being compared to Dove Cameron's If Only ballad from 2015. But the thing I've noticed about this ballad is it's often been compared to Dove Cameron's ballad way too much. Why can't we just give it a chance and see what Kylie Cantrell can make of this ballad? Because I think it's going to be a far more powerful ballad than we ever heard from Dove Cameron, that we may have ever heard from Dove Cameron and Sophia Carson when they performed the duet for Space Between. I know there have been a lot of rumors and a lot of conversation about the Space Between ballad being turned into a ballad from Red and Chloe, and while that has yet to be confirmed, I truly believe it gives us something more to be excited about and something to talk about for the foreseeable future in the months leading up to the premiere of Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland. But can we please just say something nice about these ballads, especially the ballad coming from Princess Red for the first time ever? Because this is really a dream that Kylie Cantrell is living, attending Billboard red carpet premieres, attending award shows like the Grammys earlier this year. At the beginning of the year, she had the chance to attend the Grammy Award show for the first time ever. And I remember feeling so honored to profile that for Kylie Cantrell because these are moments that I've always wanted to see happen for Kylie because she was so appreciative and so proud to be there, to stand on the red carpet. While I may have never had the chance to attend the red carpet premieres that they have, I would always have loved the opportunity to have attended them because there was always something special to take away from the acceptance speeches, the people who received these awards, because of how much they meant to all of us. Unquestionably and undeniably, the stars of Descendants of Zombies have held a very special place in our hearts, and I always thought that that could be them, standing on the Grammy Award-winning shows, accepting these awards for being some of the greatest of all time. You know, in 2024, I saw Miley Cyrus accept the award for being the youngest Disney legend of all time, and it had everything to do with how people believed in her so much. They really considered her a hero and saw idol from within her. And even with how far she took the character Hannah Montana, when the comparison could be made of who is the Hannah Montana of this generation, I've often presented the argument that it could be Kylie Cantrell. While it's been said that Miley Cyrus can pretty much sing anything that you give her the opportunity to sing, I've always believed the same thing can be said about Kylie Cantrell and countless other people who have made up the cast of Descendants of Zombies who have been in these lead roles. Even Dove Cameron, because Dove Cameron was the exemplification of strength and power for her heart and her dedication, because she let people know that it was okay to feel strong in your own skin, to feel differently about yourself. because after Dove Cameron came out of Disney, she perceived herself in a very different way. A lot of the time, people would take exception to how Dove Cameron perceived herself, but Dove Cameron was coming out for being a stronger person, for coming further than anybody ever had from Disney. And I found time in appreciating that, like many of you did, because you remain loyal to Dove Cameron and her character Mal and her character Liv and Maddie, because playing the double life can often be challenging for a lot of people who have that distinction on Disney Channel. Miley Cyrus was the first to do it, and then came Dove Cameron. And I remember being a huge fan of the 4 seasons of Liv and Maddie, the over 75 episodes that were produced, because of the message seen within every episode. The scripts were obviously very powerful, they were very down to earth, and that's why Dove Cameron became one of the most relatable Disney girls of all time. Dove Cameron often let us in on a little secret that happened behind the set about how they sprinkle you everywhere, this and that, and it gave us time to appreciate who she was as a person. Because over the years, we never really saw people get close to you on Disney Channel. We never saw Miley Cyrus or Emily Osment do the same thing until later years when they got away from Disney and they had the chance to shed their Disney personalities. Because when they shed their Disney personalities, that's what ultimately led them to make the decisions they did, which oftentimes were perceived as very controversial, but when you gave them a chance, you couldn't help but fall head over heels in love with them, which many of us did for our favorite Descendants of Zombie stars. Now, I know there are a lot of people who will forever miss the original cast of Descendants of Zombies, myself included, like Zed and Addison's characters played by Meg Donnelly and Milo Manheim. But even with how we passed the torch in Zombies, and we will eventually pass the torch in Descendants, because this is what we could be setting ourselves up for by the time Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland sees its conclusion, is a passing of the torch from Kylie to Liamani, because of course Liamani is playing Red's sister for the first time, or one of the many consequences of time travel seen within this script. Red and Chloe have also created the villain, which we'll learn more about as it gets closer to Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland's premiere. But what we could be setting ourselves up for is a passing of the torch moment, and I couldn't help but feel more excited about that because we still have a long way to go, and I've always believed this story is far from over. If you've ever wanted to believe in anything in your life at least once, I think Descendants of Zombies, ladies and gentlemen, gives you that chance. And I felt more than honored to be a part of that with so many incredible people who have obviously felt the same way and taking far more special things away from this franchise than I ever did. Because you guys are some of the smartest and most dedicated fandom that I have ever had the chance to kind of fall into. Because I feel like I've fallen down through this proverbial rabbit hole and I've been here ever since. And I've never left. And I've never wanted to leave. I've always wanted to be a part of this story, and I've always wanted to share in your stories because you still have a long way to go yourselves. Because that's what you see in these stories portrayed by these beautiful people who bring these characters to life, is a chance for yourself to achieve the same dreams of being an actress or to become stronger through a sport you may want to try out for. There are so many chances in this life to really seize, so many opportunities to take full advantage of, and I could only ever hope that these videos were going to offer you the inspiration that you were kind of searching for on an unforgettable and sometimes really long journey, which never seems to come to its end for many of us, but that's one of the most beautiful things about life, is how your journey never seems to end, and there's always an opportunity to write a new chapter, just as there is to write a new chapter for Descendants of Zombies, which is one of the reasons why I've always wanted to come out for being a creative writer or producer, because I've always believed I have so much incentive and so much creative energy to offer to these unbelievable franchises. We've all had a chance to be a part of something special. We've all had a chance to experience something so incredible, and I had the chance to experience that with all of you. Thank you so much for always having chosen this YouTube channel as your favorite Descendants of Zombies YouTube channel, and for always being here and always being you to hear what I have to say next about your favorite stars. Because the way I choose to look at this is, this story is far from over because it's never had to be over. And as long as we continue to believe in Descendants of Zombies, it will give us all more than we ever imagined possible, more to believe in than perhaps ever before. From wherever you hear my voice or could be watching this video this evening, thank you so much for being the fans of Descendants of Zombies that you have forever and always been, and thank you so much for just being here every single time we have the opportunity to have these conversations. And I look forward to having many more of these conversations with so many incredibly loyal fans to these franchises who have always deserved the best. And I just wanted to be that guy to always give you the best, to always shine through with something positive to say that forever and always remains to be said about your favorite stars, and the characters that brought these stars to life really allowed them to stand out for the obvious reasons, because of power, because of strength, a coming-of-age era that we all have the chance to be a part of and truly experience. That be the reason why you see all these original nostalgic Disney characters on my wall behind me. And I'm going to be updating this wall even more with Descendants of Zombies posters eventually, which I do have. I just had to find a way of really bringing this YouTube channel set to life. So many people will love these videos regardless, and that's what means the world to me, because I can never seem to put into words just how appreciative I am of everybody. Just know that you will forever and always hold a very special place in my heart. And thank you so much from my heart to yours for always and forever watching these videos. Every single day, at least one person or two people, maybe even three, subscribe here to this YouTube channel because they've obviously seen something special, and every single time they watch these videos, they always take something special away and so much incentive from everything I've had to say and share. Thank you so much for loving this YouTube channel with all of your heart and having Descendants of Zombies forever and always hold a very special place in your hearts. And thank you so much for believing in me and really taking a chance on me and for putting up with me for as long as what you had, because I know everybody feels very differently about Descendants of Zombies, because when you could have left me behind in the dust, you didn't. You stayed here with me, and many of you who were some of my very first subscribers have been with me ever since. Thank you so much for always holding a very special place in your heart for me, and thank you so much for believing in Descendants of Zombies with all of that heart. Thank you so much from wherever you hear my voice and may be watching this video this evening for always watching these videos and believing in Descendants of Zombies with everything that you are, because you are what's always and forever made Descendants of Zombies so special for me and countless others. Thank you so much from my heart to yours for having watched this video.